guys are all in suspense of what I'm about to say. Where are we? There we go. Okay, so my name is Owen. This is my colleague, Ellen. We represent 13 students who had the privilege to work with Charlie Hadlock, who was our professor this past fall, to work on a project for Moody Street, our new home, Waltham, Massachusetts. I'm from Connecticut, so it was really interesting to get out there and see the residents, the business owners, and the consumers, and try to put together a project for them that they could use. Now, we risked our lives to jump out in the middle of the street to take this picture for you, but this is what Moody Street looked like in the fall. This is, for those who are not familiar with this area, Moody Street has been the crucial point of economic development for Waltham for hundreds of years. It's a thriving street. Over the years, it's kind of come down, and the city approached Charlie, as well as State Representative Peter Katugin, who's the nice tall guy over here. He approached us and said, there's a problem, what can we do? Our businesses don't know who's down there, they don't know who the consumers are, what's the potential? We have a ton of vacancies, they used to be thriving, what can we do? Well, they charged us with that question, and that's what we ran with. So, right in the center, I'll just point it out, is this is our Professor Charlie Hadlock, this is the rest of our crew, and the reason why I don't have 25 people up here is we played roulette last night and we lost, so I don't represent it today. You can see what section of Moody Street. We took it from the Charles River to Maple Street. You can see that little graph there. The reason why I focused on just that part of the street is because it's distinct. It's very different than the rest of the street. A lot of businesses, I'm sure a lot of students here know about the Skellig and a couple of other social events that go down. Those are bars for those of you who haven't been down there. But we really focused on that. Now, the key areas we kind of came up with after we did some primary research, running up and down the street, talking to business owners, figuring out, is this something they even want? Well, apparently they do. They were charging us with this opportunity to really present something to the City Council, the Mayor, and we also presented to the Massachusetts State Department, Economic State Department. So it was actually a very worthwhile experience. Came up with 4 areas. A market analysis. Who's down there? What consumers are down buying the products, going to the restaurants? What businesses are down there? What's the potential? What businesses have come in and failed and left? We wanted to get a good mix so that the business owners knew who their target consumers was. And were there distinct groups? Were there segments of, say, college students or Waltham residents? And we'll get into that a little bit about what we found. Then the regulations and business development. Regulations. If you come in as a business owner, what hoops you got to jump through? Is Moody Street difficult or more difficult than comparable areas to set up shop? Now, why is it important to draw this really cool little painting here? It's to figure out where the businesses are located. One question we brought up was, after synthesizing some of the consumer surveys, is that people came for one-stop shopping. And in this area here, retail, there's a couple of rug stores, and I'll use that as my example. Some people will come in, shop at a rug store, and what do? Any rational person, you want to compare prices. Well, they just go right next door because there's another rug store right there. Now, what we want to know is if this was spread out along the street, and you had to come here for your rug store, and the other one was down here, would you walk up and down the street and maybe stop into a couple of shops? That was something we wanted to kind of look at and present to the City Council and say, look at your business mix. And also identify the consumer segments, like we said before. We have Bentley and Brandeis. Those 2 schools kind of really support the college and young professional segment that goes down to Moody Street, the Waltham residents, as well as the greater Boston area residents. Now this map is the trade area. All of the little triangles represent a type of business that's not on Moody Street currently. We wanted to see for those residents who lived around the area who walked to Moody Street, where would they have to go in order to say, go to the drugstore, the pharmacy, or go to a coffee shop. Currently, there's no coffee shops on Moody Street right now. If they had to walk, they'd have to walk a couple miles in any direction to get there. What's this give for the city? An opportunity or potential businesses that could come in and possibly meet unmet demand. One huge finding that the marketing team came up with is this sales leakage. Now, sales leakage just means the amount of sales that they're losing from Waltham to other comparable areas, other comparable towns, including Watertown, Belmont, Newton. Now, it looks like just a rough sketch, you know. They just came up with potential sales minus actual sales equals a sale gap. But if you read our report, you'll see that there's a lot of factors in there, including average household income. What's the average discretionary spending in a particular year to figure out what this equation is. But what we really just came up with is $75 million leakage. That means that's $75 million which could be going to the businesses in Waltham. People are leaving to go do their shopping or go to clothing stores outside of the city.